Welcome to Memoirs of a Twisted Mind. I'm your host, Eddie Stanley. And today today is gonna be a real good one. I'm talking about toxic masculinity. Yeah, everybody want to hear about that toxic masculinity. Yes, it is toxic masculinity in this world. But because this is Memoirs of a Twisted Mind, toxic masculinity does not come from men. It comes from modern day feminists. It comes from the women who are bitter and upset and mad because, not my words, they hit a wall. The thing is, that's all what it's about. And certain females make it seem like, oh, okay, well, because you view this and because of how we're actually starting to realize that toxic masculinity comes from that poison that they put into young girls' minds of saying, oh, you need to be independent, you need to be self-sufficient, all this stuff. You don't need a man, you can do everything by yourself. So then when men like myself go, do you think, boo? You got the songs, you got all this stuff, go do your thing. But then when something that requires a man, we're trash, we're nothing. We don't need to actually exist. Or because we didn't treat you like a woman, but that's counterproductive. Because see, here's the thing: if you're an independent woman, then that means that saying I don't need a man but I want one, no, you don't. You're independent. You don't want a man, you don't need a man. What you need is a dependent. You don't need an independent man. Because see, an independent man is not going to put up with the foolishness that this social media is projecting. And see, here's the thing: most women think, oh, I look good, I have this. But if your personality doesn't fit the criteria that a man's looking for, then be Miss Independent by yourself. And that's the sad reality that's going on, that certain women are starting to wake up from, where they did all this stuff and then that's when they sit back, they look at friends going, oh wait, they went off, got a husband, long existing boyfriend and stuff, and then that's when they realize that that could have been me too. And then that's when you go start chasing, you start settling. Because see, an independent woman really don't want to be independent. Yeah, the ideal is great and it's wonderful. But in the long run, you get to a certain point where you just boil down and settle. And when you settle, that's what happens when, okay, well, maybe I need to start looking this way. And then you start getting attracted to that independent man who pretty much treats you as an equal, which means that they don't see you as a female that they want to get to know. They look at you as either a good friend, a business partner, something like that. Yeah, most dudes would take advantage of that and have you doing something that you don't want to do, which means that you step out of that relationship with that dependent. And then once you're available of saying, well, I'm going to be with you, they look at you and go, no, the fun thing was just, okay, I liked it better when I could play you, use you, abuse you, and have all these benefits of being somebody to, okay, go back to that dude that it was a lot easier because you're not the only one that I was messing with. And now that you end up putting yourself out there, getting divorced, doing all this stuff, they don't want you because you pretty much had nothing to offer. And that's all what the toxic masculinity come from. It start getting to, oh well, this man don't want me because he don't want to equal. Some men don't want to equal. Some men want his woman to be a woman, nurturing, caring, all that good stuff. Because what you're learning from these older women, nah. The best advice that you can get, the truth that you can get, is actually talking to a man of saying what men actually want in a woman. And yeah, basically, I'm just a black dude that's on YouTube talking. And you can say, oh, well, see, that's why nobody's going to want you. No, there's always going to be somebody who wants me. Plain and simple. I'm self-sufficient. I'm a provider. I'm all this stuff. I can be independent, which I am. I used to be a dependent, but then that's when I realized that women do not want a dependent person unless they want to feel like the alpha female and have all that. And more power to you, boo. I ain't even gonna hate on that. If that's what you want, that's what you want. But see, the indecisiveness of saying, oh well, yeah, he don't want me because of it. No, they don't want you because no matter how good you look, no matter what you do, how much money you bring in, all that stuff, modern day feminists is lying to you, where if a guy straight up has an opinion and actually speaks truth, nah, it's not the truth you want to hear. Most people can't handle the truth. It is what it is. You can't take, and some people can't even take criticism. As a man, we take criticism every day. As a man, we get looked at of going, oh, I don't know about him. And that's why most men keep to themselves, because the toxic masculinity is not coming from them. It's coming from what you've been taught by social media, by women who are bitter because they, in their eyes, haven't met the right one, when they don't know. They could have actually blew past that dude. The one that was for them, that actually wanted to help build, establish, and do all this stuff, could have been that person, but because they didn't meet that criteria right then and there, they pushed them off to the side. And now they become the bitter cat lady of going, oh, I'm just going to have cats, I'm just going to have dogs. And they don't really want to embrace that the choices that they made in their life actually put them in this moment now. If you want to know, y'all got dating apps, fellas, ladies. Go on a date app. Like, go on your dating apps and put the criteria between 35 and above. How many single women that you go, like, have in their bios at that point? I know what I want. I'm independent. If you're on some F-boy stuff, I don't want to deal with this. All red flags. And the reason why they're red flags is because I'm not saying we need to go back to the 50s and no, times didn't change. The 1950s are done, over with. But modern day feminists with the whole little, you need to be this, you need to be this, they're selling you a delusion. They're selling you false indications of saying that you can have everything. You can have your cake and eat it too, because honestly, if you're a woman that's independent, and you have a man, 9 times out of 10, he's probably a dependent, which means that he needs you for his help, like for you to help him. And that's the same thing for the independent lesbian. If you have a girl that's dependent on you and you're sitting back going, oh my gosh, like, I need you to do more, I need you to do this, it's because you pretty much has been told, oh yeah, you're independent. And it's a rarity to actually find a guy like myself that will actually put up with the toxic masculinity that you put off. But what do I know? I'm just here talking. I could just be feeding you full of lies, or I could be speaking the truth. And what basically comes down to, if your criteria is that high, 9 times out of 10, a guy like me will probably look at that and go, yeah, 2 alphas is not going to be able to work, because quite frankly, an alpha male is not going to need an independent female standing by his side, for the simple fact, when the world beats him up, he want to come home and relax and not deal with the yelling or the argument or the chaos that toxic masculinity put into his home. This has been Memoirs of a Twisted Mind. I have been your host, Eddie Stanley. And the question I got for you is, so what are you going to do different today?